All right, hello everyone. This is Eric, the director of Inspire Fit Resorts. Just checking in with you again. This week's video blog, I just wanted to put a little something out there about what is good nutrition, and really just some generic things on what to really focus on or what's really important in nutrition, in regardless of any program. If you're trying to lose weight, maintain weight, just increase your performance, increase your overall health. Really looking at trying to even gain weight, right, for those of you who are underweight. So essentially there's just a couple of things I want to cover first that really quickly is like a calorie. What is a calorie? Generally, most people don't even really understand what a calorie is. A calorie is just a measurement that we use. It's a unit of heat, essentially. And what it really comes down to is how much heat energy it takes to change, I believe it's 1 liter of water 1 degree Celsius. And so all that's talking about is that the process that happens within your body and that's associated with that food in which you ingested. So that just means how much energy it's either going to release from the chemical reactions that occur in your body, or it's also referring to how much energy it would take to break it down. So essentially, along with thermodynamics, which just talks about heat energy exchanges, and overall production of energy. So some things, not all macronutrients, for instance, are the same quality, right? So you have like essentially your protein, your fat, and your carbohydrates are considered your 3 main macronutrients. Now of each of those there's quite some disparity because of all the way in which they're treated, either chemically or processed, or the different sources they come from naturally. So your body deals with them all pretty differently. Although be it said, once they're completely broken down into amino acids and into lipid profiles and stuff like that, your body uses them the same regardless of where they came from. But in the process of breaking it down, that's where good and bad nutrition comes into play, is how much work your body had to do. So for instance, like protein, in like the diets in which are high in protein, generally those work pretty well because one, they have you reduce, right? It's always the key to a diet, is reduction of something. And then they have you consume a lot of that of protein, which is really kind of an inefficient fuel source as far as how the exchanges work and things like that. Your body has to work harder to break it down for what it gets in return. And so that would cause a lot of that, your body to start using it as almost like a carbohydrate source, right? And then that would cause that shed. But it also causes other reactions in your body, which people who experience some of those high protein diets saw, where when you came off of it, all of a sudden your body carb loaded and you ballooned back up to the weight that you were at. So carbohydrates, again, are a little bit easier for your body to work with and break down. Fats are probably the easiest. And again, it has some disparity as far as what source they're from, more so as far as what other enzymes and what chemical reactions are kind of triggered in your body. But essentially, think of it this way: like if you have a plate and you have a piece of steak, how hard is that for you to pull apart with your fingers versus like some rice or a noodle, right? How hard is that versus a pat of butter? So the less energy that you need to physically do to manipulate those things, the less energy generally your body has to expend. So you think of like a fibrous source, for instance, like a carrot. Try pulling a carrot apart, what happens? It snaps. If you cook it and break it down and break down the substance, then it kind of falls apart, right? So essentially, same thing there. Like if you're consuming all your vegetables are cooked into a puree, you're not getting as much benefit from that as you would be if you're eating them more raw, right? Because then your body would be causing those reactions and doing those reactions and releasing the enzymes to hopefully break those things down. And it's the more and more you learn about actual good nutrition, the more and more you realize how, like, just by ingesting whole, regular, healthy food, your body then releases and does all these extra processes that do things like help fight free radicals that cause cancer. And you can't get that from eating the cooked down, boiled down version or the chemically treated version. So with good nutrition, it's always important to try your best to get your whole natural raw foods, things like that. Even going as far as trying to get more farm raised stuff, right? Being more proactive, going to a farmer's market for your materials, for your vegetables and your grains and goods, as well as your meat. So, and not everyone can do that, right? Because that doesn't work into everyone's lifestyle, but that would just be a step in the right direction. So, so choosing the foods with high nutrient density is important, right? So The overall calorie content can vary, but it depends on what is high in nutrients for the amount of calories in which you consume. So basically, if a food source is low in nutrient density, but is, let's say 200 calories, and you have something that's high in nutrient density and that 200 calories, you're going to consume that same 200 calories, and one will make you feel satiated, full, and the other will leave you wanting more, right? And that's essentially what happens with, a lot of these chemically processed treated foods and all this stuff that, the big companies are trying to make a buck off of, right? By breaking it down so many times. Your body no longer has to do that, so therefore you want to eat and overeat. And your body's doing that in essence to try and get the right nutrition, right? But so essentially the calorific value is still up there, but the nutrition is down here. So whereas before you only needed to eat 200 calories to be satiated and for your body to get everything it needed, now your body wants to eat 450 calories to make up for the fact that the processes that aren't going on and the enzymes that aren't being released and the nutrition that isn't being taken into your cells. So, a lot of science in that one, but essentially eating food that is less processed, cleaner, is a much better choice just for your body. So making switches like that is a big thing, right? 3 kind of factors of good nutrition, is to understand what 3 things you'd look for. I'd say 1 is, your blood work, your health, how your body's actually handling it, what your lipid profiles are like, or what your cholesterol's like, your blood sugar's like, right? If you're doing well with that, I consider that being in the right step of a proper nutrition program, right? Secondly would be how you're performing, how you feel, right? Your activity, your ability to do work. If you feel like you're sluggish and lazy and you're on this diet that's making you lose weight and keeps your lipid profile or keeps your your health within the range you want, that's not necessarily the right. It's not good for you, right? You want to make sure that you encompass all these areas. Lastly, obviously, would be kind of your aesthetics, how you look, right? So, that's important as well, to measure that your nutrition is proper, right? If we say that we have the best dietary nutrition program in the world, and we have all this extra, body weight and fat tissue hanging on to us, it's time to reevaluate that. So, again, just kind of wrapping it up, a calorie is just heat measurement. Units, thermodynamics deals with that, so kind of expenditure of heat and energy and your ability to do work, right? And then looking at proper nutrition, understanding that there's kind of a hierarchy in how the macronutrients are broken down as far as how much cost there is to your body, and then ingesting foods that are less processed and are higher nutrient dense foods. Okay, and then 3 key points, obviously. 1, to make sure that your nutrition program is encompassing or looking at, your health profile is continuing to improve or is in the range you want it to. That your ability to perform and do work is where you want it to be. And that lastly, when you look in the mirror, you're pleased with what you see. So this is Eric. Just wanted to say thanks, and feel free to shoot any questions, comments, or concerns, and best of luck to everyone out there, and happy holidays. All right, bye.